Coming this Halloween from SJS Direct, a darker shade of black, Spellbound. Get Spellbound, paperback or ebook at your favorite online bookseller this Halloween. This is going to be part two to the video where I talked about my high school experiences with Negro women. And in that previous video, I talked about many of the reasons why I made every effort to avoid Negro women and women in general when I was in high school. Because back when I was in high school, many of these Negro women were pretty much primarily involved with these dope dealers. And if you were involved with these dope dealers by proxy or associated with these dope dealers or even talking to them, chances are you were putting your life at risk. And when it comes down to these females involved with these dope dealers, all it takes is one incident to pretty much either put your life at risk or cost you your life. And back during the days of the late 1980s, it could take something as simple as looking at this female the wrong way or simply disagreeing with her that could put you in a high risk situation. I remember one time back in 1989 when I was in a science class and there was a little disagreement with me between me and one of these females, and she said she would get her dope dealer man after me. And that really had me scared because I understood how dangerous that situation was, because all it takes with one of these females is that she has to disagree with you. She'll go get this guy, and this guy, because he was raised in a single mother household and he's emotional, he will not understand that this is not worth fighting for. All he's thinking about is he's going to get the attention and approval of one of these females. And what this savage is going to do is he's going to try to fight you. And if you do get into a fight with him and you best him, what he's going to do is take out his 9mm of courage, and you are pretty much either going to become mortally injured or you're just going to wind up in a body bag. And that's what was really dangerous about having to just be in a classroom with these females who are involved with these dope boys. Another dangerous situation you could run into is when you disagree with them, is that what happens is these females will make threats to have people do harm to you. Like, I've had situations where these females have come up and said to me, "I can have you robbed." And I'm sitting there saying to myself, why would you say this? And it's just a scary thing, and that's what made going to a place like Part2 so dangerous. She's threatening to have you robbed and will do bodily harm to you. And the scary part is that the Negroes who she's involved with will sit there and say to themselves, I'm going to get her attention and her approval, again, are more important than their own health and safety. And just because this guy did not want to give you $1 or $2, you're going to have this man robbed. I mean, when you think about it, it's just illogical. But these Negro men, back then, these Negro boys did not think. And all they were thinking about was, I'm going to get her attention. I'm going to get her approval. I'm going to get brownie points. And if I get enough brownie points, I can redeem them for a taste of atomic waste between their legs. And that's all these Negro men were thinking about. And that's what made going to a place like Part2 extremely dangerous, because these Negro males, these savages, would do anything for a taste of that waste, anything for a bit of attention from these females, anything for the approval of these females. And that's one of the reasons why I was starting to make efforts to avoid them, because it's sad to see, back then, these men not understanding the concepts of dignity, self-respect, self-worth, and most importantly, putting yourself first and maintaining your own self-preservation. Now, I had to make efforts to try to preserve myself in this hostile environment, and after a while, I started saying to myself, this situation is just too dangerous to be in, especially after that situation I had where I caved into peer pressure for a minute and tried to get involved with that female. And I said to myself, this is too dangerous for me. And I started praying to God to change my life. Now, after I got mugged on the train, I saw how God worked, and I changed schools. And when I changed schools, that's when I really started thinking heavily and critically about this female, and made pretty much a promise that I stayed to myself for the last 25 years. Because I said to myself, after I watched a news report on Channel 7 back in 1990, where I saw two of these silverbacks, pretty much one killed the other one over one of these females, it registered in my mind that if this situation happens, one of us is going to be dead The other one's going to be in jail. And this female is going to be back out here all over again, finding two other fools to continue this cycle all over again. And the cycle primarily is about her getting attention and approval for herself. And sadly, many of these guys, they can't connect the dots and see how little regard this female has for them. Any female who truly loved you and cared about you would not be going out here running over and saying, "This guy disagreed with me. I want you to go beat him up." Or, "This guy won't give me $1 to go buy a pack of cookies at a concession stand. I want you to go rob him." Any female who loves you is not going to put you in a precarious situation where you wind up with a felony on your record and you won't be able to do anything with your life. Women who love you are just going to say, "I'm going to be able to handle my business. If this guy disagrees with me, that's his opinion. I'm going to go on." Any guy who does not give me $1, which you should not be trying to get in the first place, for a pack of cookies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ask one of my girlfriends, or I'm just going to do without. I'm not going to go and try to put another man's health and safety at risk, all because I want to get my ego sated. Again, females who care about you not going to do that. But many of these Negroes, they are so desperate for female attention, they don't think about how this female is treating them or how this female perceives them. Because when this female goes out here and puts you at risk, she is showing how little regard she has for you. And that's what I saw back in 1989 and 1990 regarding these females. And that's why the primary reason I stay away from them, because I understand that many of these females are not looking out for my safety the way I would look out for their safety. And for me to go out and try to have a relationship with someone who is not looking out for me in the same way I'm looking out for her, that's a dangerous situation to be in, because this is the type of female that will get you killed. This is the type of female that will get you arrested. And this is the type of female that will jam you up. And I saw too many black men wind up with their lives completely ruined because they got involved with the wrong female. This is the type of guy who's sitting up here talking about this is his girl, this is his boo, this is his number one, and he's running out of here because he's so insecure to fight any guy who looks at her cross-eyed or any guy who says something to her that she doesn't like, not thinking about what's going to happen to his life if he engages the wrong man. Because if he engages the wrong man, what's going to happen to him is either he's going to wind up dead or in prison. And if he's dead, he's gone from this earth. And if he's in prison, chances are he's going to be getting spit roasted by Bubba and Tiny, while his female that he loves so much, his girl, is out here with two other Negroes, continuing the vicious cycle of self-destruction among black men. And these Negroes, for the most part, many of them are my age and who grew up back then and still have not connected the dots regarding this female. They don't understand that she's not looking out for their best interests, and they're not plotting a course where they pretty much understand that the only person who's going to look out for you, as I said in the previous video, is you, and you have to put yourself first above everything else out here, because when you put yourself first, you understand that there are things that are more important than her attention and her approval, things such as your dignity, your self-respect, your self-worth, and most importantly, preservation of self and your health, because no female is worth you dying for, no female is worth you getting hurt for, and a female who regards you and cares about you is going to look out for your health and safety. She's not going to put herself in situations with dysfunctional Negroes like these dope boys and these gang members, because she understands that if she wants to have a relationship with you, she needs to be involved with people who enrich your life, not take away from it. And any female who regards you like that will not put you in that type of situation. In many cases, these Negro females, they show how little love they have for this Afro-American Negro in every interaction they have with him. But because this Negro is dumb, he cannot connect the dots and see how little regard she has for him. Because as I saw it back in Park West, I said to myself, for this female to pretty much say she's going to send a dope dealer after me, and for another one to say she's going to have me robbed, that tells me this is not the type of female I would want to be involved with, because if this female would threaten my life and my safety in this type of situation, what would she do in a situation where, you know, in any other situation? What would she do? For her to do that then shows me so much about her character that it tells me not to get involved with her. Just like I said to myself after I dealt with the female who had the boyfriend and gave me the phone number to the payphone, I need to stay away from this female because she's pretty much showing me, my 43-year-old mind, my 15-year-old mind, I didn't connect it, but I did connect it after she said I couldn't do anything for her. But I did connect the dots and see, that this female was not someone I would want to be involved with, because if this female cannot look out for me and practice the concept of doing to others as she would do unto me, then I need to do what's right for me and stay away from her. And I urge many of you black men to keep your distance from many of these females and really observe them in action, because that's something that I had to do when I changed high schools. I started observing these females in action, and that told me more about their character than anything else, because when you see them hanging out with these dope boys, you see them riding around this guy's Jeep Cherokee, you see them with all these expensive clothes and talking about how they're going to get somebody to come after somebody after school, how they're plotting to have somebody robbed. That's telling you how she regards you. She has no use for you outside of what she can get out of you. And after she gets stuff out of you, she's going to start looking to get attention for herself, and she's going to escalate drama that puts your health and safety at risk. And many of these Negro men over the last 25 years have not figured this out, and many of these Negro men today who have grown up, the sons of those men, still have not figured out the hard lesson I learned way back in 1989. And the reason why I make these videos is to teach those men that hard lesson so that they won't lose their lives like many of those brothers lost in New York back in the late 1980s and early 1990s in these nightclubs, fighting over these girls, fighting over a look over these girls, putting their own health and safety at risk, putting their own lives at risk, all for a female who will go out here a week after you are dead and buried, and go out here and out and pursue a relationship with another pair of guys, making a complete fool out of them, just like they made a complete fool out of the two fools who are dead and in prison right now. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.